Now, I'm a wagon guy, so it's with some genuine sadness when I say that Australia's not going to get the squareback version of the new Mercedes-Benz E-Class. But all is not lost, because we are getting this, the 2017 Mercedes-Benz E-Class All-Terrain, a high-riding, all-wheel drive crossover version of the E-Class estate. But why should you buy that over an SUV? Now, the All-Terrain is a very handsome car. I'm not a fan of the fake exhaust tips at the back, but it wears the wagon shape and its crossover components really well. Okay, so technically it is an E-Class estate, although it does sit a bit higher, 29mm, thanks to these taller tyres on large 20-inch rims. There's a further 35mm of suspension travel as well, thanks to the multi-chamber air suspension, giving the car anywhere between 121 to 156mm of ground clearance. You get constant all-wheel drive thanks to the Mercedes 4MATIC system, and of course, the requisite black plastic arches so that everybody knows you bought the crossover. Under the bonnet, and there's only one choice, is the new 2-litre turbo diesel 4-cylinder. Now, it's got 147 kilowatts, around 200 horsepower, and 400 newton meters of torque. Now, they're not enormous numbers, but Mercedes claim it'll do 5.7 litres per 100 on a combined cycle, and that's got to be more important for buyers of a car like this. Anyway, enough about that. Let's go down the back where all the wagon stuff is. That never gets old when it works. All right, well, let's start with the basics. Power tailgate with kicker, obviously, that cleverly lifts the parcel blind up and out of the way. It's a class-leading 640 litres of boot space, which has got a 1.1 metre square load area, just in case you need to carry a really big chessboard. There's more storage under the floor, which includes the Mercedes shopping crate, but no spare tyre because, of course, the car runs on run flats. Now, you can use the remote releases to fold the back seats 40, 20, 40, and if I get rid of this thing, you can see that the load area has increased to 1820 litres. Not bad for a family wagon. All right, okie dokes. Well, back here, with all that folded back into place, there's plenty of room. This seat is in my driving position and I'm 6'4". I've got stacks of knee room, maybe a little bit tight on the toes, but my head has heaps of clearance, even with the optional sunroof. The one thing I will say though is the bench, especially for my long legs, feels a little bit short. It is comfortable though. Vents are standard, as are mat pockets, plus you get a center armrest with a storage cubby and cup holders. There is a 12-volt outlet, but no USB points. Now, like this, the back of the E-Class is actually quite comfortable. You could fit certainly 3 children across, but for adults, it's probably best as a 4-seater. Now, Mercedes fans might notice a feature of E-Class wagons since like 1980 that we didn't call out: the 2 rear-facing jump seats that normally live in the boot. The thing is, this car isn't fitted with them, and they're not even available as an option anymore. So sadly, the E-Class All-Terrain is strictly a 5-seater. Up front, the All-Terrain is the same as all other E-Class models, with a pair of 12.3-inch high-resolution LCD displays and all the technology you can shake a stick at. Now, I don't want to take Troy McClure's bit, but you may remember me from such other videos as the international launch of the new E-Class, where we got our first look at this technological showpiece that Mercedes has put together. Here we are a year on, and honestly, it's still impressing. The way that you can configure both the center screen and the screen for the driver, not only to display the information that you need, but also personalize with what you like to see while you're driving. A map, your fuel consumption, even the radio station is still pretty cool. Now, as we said, the only engine choice is the 2-litre diesel, and to be honest, it's not that bad. The car really is a tourer, and it tours brilliantly well. You get up to speed, whether it be 80 or 100 kilometers an hour, with minimal fuss. And around town, it's easy and effortless, even with the idle stop system activated. For that mid-range response you need for steeper climbs or perhaps country overtaking maneuvers, the 2 litre can feel a little short on legs, particularly if you need to do something quickly. Plan ahead and you tend to be okay. But the big thing is we're managing to match the claim by Mercedes of just under 6 litres per 100 for a combined fuel consumption cycle, which we've got to say is pretty impressive for a brand new car. The All-Terrain gets the new 9-speed 9G-tronic automatic transmission. It's a very smooth system, very easy to use, and even has paddle shifters on the wheels that I doubt you'll ever use. As handy as all the space and flexibility in the back of the car is, one of the things that has impressed us the most about the All-Terrain is just the way that it drives. It's not particularly tight or sporty, but it's really comfortable and really compliant, and you don't get that floaty, sort of underdamped feeling that we've seen out of some other Mercedes and even some other E-Class. We've driven this thing on a variety of surfaces, from the freeway, winding back roads, even on some unsealed roads, and it's remained very composed and very comfortable for the period of our drive. Even over sharp man-made bumps like a railway crossing with these big 20-inch wheels, it wasn't jarring, so we're quite impressed with that. It isn't the most driver-focused vehicle though, and I guess you go in with your eyes open knowing that. It is a tourer. It's a comfortable, long-distance tourer that you can live with around town. But to be honest, I'd really like to get this thing out on the open road and really chew up some miles. Now, if you do cross over, pardon the pun, from tarmac to gravel, the transition's almost unnoticeable. The all-wheel drive system essentially works all the time, so you don't really need to worry about it. We did find that on tighter corners or on particularly slick surfaces, the car would feel like it was pushing through the bend. It is a trait of the all-wheel drive system, but it doesn't stop it from feeling a little bit funny. As a package though, I really do like this car, up until the point when you work out that in its current trim, it costs about $20,000 more than the equivalent GLE. Well, there you go. Is it an estate or is it a crossover? I tell you what, it doesn't really matter because the 2017 Mercedes-Benz E-Class All-Terrain is all wagon to me. It really is a lovely, lovely car that's nicer, arguably much more stylish and definitely more technologically advanced than its GLE SUV counterparts. But it's also much more expensive, meaning that like the all-road and cross-country competitors, the All-Terrain will likely remain a bit of a niche vehicle, a very specific Mercedes for a very specific buyer.